tell us the latest on this attack. Has anyone admitted responsibility?
Well, what we know, there are reports that a particular Russian ship was hit by that attack, that it was then escorted to the port of Novorossiysk. And the comments in Ukrainian media, the ones that I saw, suggest that the signal is that the Russian Black Sea Fleet can't be safe anymore, not only in the port of Sevastopol, not only in the Crimea, but also in the port of Novorossiysk. And if this is indeed the case, this is a major, major development in the war on the Black Sea. I want to remind listeners that Russia lost its flagship last year, in the spring of the last year, and that it's really, really was unexpected and on many levels amazing that Ukraine, that actually doesn't have a navy, is so effective in fighting Russian Navy and sinking ships like Moskva last year, and now hitting another ship as far away as Novorossiysk.
Is it such a major moment because this is more ambitious in terms of movement from Ukraine, targeting places outside of Ukraine? It no longer is a war just within the country, a defensive war, and fits in perhaps more with your analysis, the title of your book, The Russo-Ukrainian War, rather than Russia's war in Ukraine.
Exactly. What we see is that the Ukrainians first brought the war to the Crimea, something that many people imagined was a red line for Putin. And a few weeks ago, there was attack by the sea drones again on the Kerch Bridge, the bridge that connects Crimea to the mainland Russia. So clearly, Ukraine brings war to the new territory. There have been attacks, not sea drones, but actual drones attack against targets in Moscow. So we see a clearly new development in this war, when Ukraine found the way to respond to the Russian attacks against the targets, infrastructure targets, civilian targets deep in the Ukrainian rear, now to respond with attacks on the military targets deep in Russia.
But what do you think that the central sort of thing that this is about is? It's oil and grain, really, the two biggest things, and that should be of concern, and in a way that will never be resolved.
Well, the current attack, in my mind, is directly linked to the fact that Russia withdrew from the grain deal that allowed supply not only of Russian but also Ukrainian grain, mostly Ukrainian grain, to the markets, world markets in Mediterranean in particular, to the countries in Africa. And on the top of that, Russia issued an ultimatum stating that any ships that would be going to the Ukrainian ports on the Black Sea or going from those ports would be considered illegitimate targets. And Ukraine issued very soon a sort of counter statement, a counter threat, saying that, well, if this is indeed the case, then all Russian ships will be viewed in the same way. And many people were asking question whether this is just a bluff on the part of the country that doesn't have a navy. And what we see now, that it was much more than a bluff. That was a statement of reality. That's something that Ukrainians can do now.
So Zelensky's been suggesting peace talks as soon as the autumn. Do these new developments suggest that peace talks and any hope for peace is increasingly unlikely, because this looks like an upscale in activity?
The main battle is taking place not on the Black Sea. It's taking place north of the Sea of Azov. So it's a land battle. That's the area of today's Ukraine's counteroffensive that started in early or mid-June, is moving forward slower than many expected, but it's moving forward. And I think that until this summer fall campaign is over, I don't see really much incentive on the part either of Russia or Ukraine get to the negotiation table. The biggest questions in this war this year are answered on the battlefield, not around the negotiation table.